Straight up 6 o'clock. We are taking a live look this morning. I want you to see the I-75 northbound lanes in Charlotte County, just north of Jones Loop Road. If we can get that here in a little bit, because the reason why we were going to show you that is the interstate there is shut down, or had been shut down for several hours overnight after a Charlotte County deputy was hit and killed. Thanks for counting on NBC2 News Today. I'm Lisa Spooner. And I'm Alan Campbell. And this morning we do have team coverage for you, telling you everything we have confirmed about this crash before you head out the door. That happened again on I-75 northbound just before the Duncan Road exit north of Jones Loop Road. NBC2 spoke with a witness who was there as the deputy was given CPR. We're local this morning near I-75 north of Jones Loop Road with NBC2's Chandler Blackman. So Chandler, what have we been able to confirm at this point?
Yeah, Lisa, well, it's actually a much different scene behind me compared to the flashing lights that we saw about an hour ago. I-75 northbound cleared up about 45 minutes ago, and it is back open for drivers. But we want to show you what things looked like earlier. Take a look at your screen. Our crew arrived just before 1 this morning when I-75 was shut down near Jones Loop Road. We can confirm one Charlotte County deputy was killed after making a traffic stop. We saw 3 vehicles involved, including one Charlotte County Patrol Unit SUV, a dark-colored Jeep, and a dark-colored sedan. We saw major damage to the front and rear of the deputy's unit with similar results to the Jeep. The deputy unit was towed away about an hour ago. Right now, we are still working to confirm the name of the deputy along with what exactly happened here, so you can count on NBC2 to keep you updated throughout the morning once we learn that information. We're local this morning in Punta Gorda, just off I-75 northbound. I'm Chandler Blackman, NBC2. And we continue with our team coverage right now. Deputies have been outside of Shore Point Health and Punta Gorda following this crash all morning long. We continue our team coverage this morning with NBC2's Claire Lavazorio. She joins us live outside of the hospital. Claire, we've got some breaking news about this investigation. What can you tell us?
I just got new information seconds ago from Florida Highway Patrol, and I'm learning that a 30-year-old woman was placed under arrest for DUI manslaughter in connection to this fatal crash involving the Charlotte County deputy on I-75. That woman's name is Cassandra Smith, a 30-year-old from Massachusetts. She's currently in the process of being booked into the Charlotte County jail. Now, all morning here at the hospital, I've seen law enforcement members showing up here right outside of the ER to pay respects to their fellow member of law enforcement. We've seen FHP troopers, Charlotte County deputies, all of them here to say goodbye to their friend who they lost in the line of duty. Now, we know that this happened just before 11 o'clock last night on I-75. The deputy was working a traffic stop when they were hit by that driver that we just learned about. The sheriff releasing this information through a Facebook video saying the name of the deputy will not be released until all family is notified. I also just heard from the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office moments ago, and they say a press conference is not planned at this time, but as soon as they release more information on who that deputy was, we'll be sure to update you both on air and online. But breaking right now, we know that a driver has been placed under arrest for DUI manslaughter in connection to this fatal crash involving the Charlotte County deputy. We'll have more coming up on NBC2 News Today. For now, I am local in Punta Gorda. Claire Lavazorio, NBC2.
So sad, completely preventable.
Absolutely. And as this story continues to develop, you, of course, as always, can count on NBC2 to continue monitoring this story very closely. And remember, you can get updates sent straight to your phone as we get them.
Yeah, you can download the NBC2 News app for free from the Google Play and the Apple app stores. You can get push alerts. That's the sound you'll hear sent right to your phone, so you can get the newest information on the biggest stories locally. You can continue to count on NBC2 to bring you updates on this big story throughout the morning and throughout the day.
Well, switching gears to your first alert forecast here, day before Thanksgiving, and we are still stuck in the clouds here on this Wednesday morning. I'm first alert meteorologist Jason Dunning. Just to show you what we're dealing with as we start the day, you can see that cloud deck laying really low here, closer to the surface. At least the visibility is not too bad out there this morning, but you might run into a little bit of mist, and that's the live shot from Central Fort Myers looking over toward the Edison Mall. As we scan the sky with the NBC2 First Alert Live Doppler radar from North Fort Myers to Cape Coral, Lehigh Acres, we're all dealing with kind of gloomy gray conditions as we start the day. Very similar to yesterday, but it's not going to end like yesterday. We're actually going to see some sunshine back in the mix, especially for the afternoon hours. So currently on the NBC2 First Alert Live Doppler radar, all the rain that we're tracking is well to the north of us from Tampa to Orlando, and you can see those gray skies here from 7 o'clock through about 11 o'clock this morning. Temperatures starting off in the low to middle 70s, so feeling pretty comfortable. But then around lunchtime and into the afternoon, we'll see those clouds begin to break up a little bit more and at least some rays of sunshine making through, so we'll call it partly sunny today. Temperatures about up to 83 degrees, so 3 degrees warmer compared to what you saw yesterday, and rain chances incredibly low. Tomorrow, we will continue to warm up. It could be close to one of the warmest Thanksgivings on record in Southwest Florida. So I'll show you what to expect for the big day tomorrow, and I'm tracking the next weather system heading our way at 6:15.
6:06, we've got even more breaking news this morning, also out of Charlotte County. A pedestrian was killed overnight in Punta Gorda. This was at Jones Loop and Duncan Roads. At this point, we know an 18-year-old was driving and hit the 52-year-old woman, killing her. Troopers say she was trying to cross the road, walked in front of the SUV.
Yeah, she died at the scene. Of course, you can count on NBC2 to keep you updated.
It is an integral part of our history, our heritage, and our identity.
Well, families on Fort Myers Beach are pressing the Lee County School District to rebuild the island's elementary school. Parents say their children should be able to go to the only school on the beach rather than off the island. Some parents are even offering to help pay for renovations.
Kids, really, it comes down to our kids. They've been through a lot, and we'd really try to give them the best that we can. Voices were heard. Now we just have to hope that they're actually listening.
The school only had 78 students before the storm. The district hasn't made any decisions just yet. The school board will meet again on December 13th to discuss options for Beach Elementary. You can count on NBC2 to keep you updated.
From your Cape Coral News team, the tree debris site in the northwest part of the city is still burning despite neighbors' complaints. And now a petition is going around to get the site removed. People who live nearby say they're tired of having to breathe in that smoke all day long.
That fire burns constantly, all night long it's going. So as the wind changes direction, the fire smoke just moves different ways. It's just a constant burden, more and more adding up.
The city says the incinerator is shut down at sunset. They have an ACI operator that stays there throughout the night to monitor it as well.
Well, if you live in Collier County or Cape Coral, there will be no debris collection today. Services will resume on Monday. The drop-off site in Cape Coral, however, will remain open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day, except for Thanksgiving Day.
Well, today's the final day for some of you to renew your flood insurance policies. This is important. If your policy was set to renew between August 25th through October 23rd, your grace period ends today. Once your policy is renewed, you will be able to file a claim for flood damage. More than 45,000 claims have already been filed, and more than $706 million has gone out already.
Your time right now is 6:08, and the Small Business Administration is extending its deadline for hurricane relief applications. The deadline is now January 12th. This is for all Florida property owners, including homes and businesses who need more time to apply. Regular FEMA applications have also been extended to the 12th.
6:08 is your time. Good Wednesday morning, Southwest Florida. We are following some breaking news coming out of Israel. Let's take a look at social media because according to several news outlets, 2 explosions happened in Jerusalem early this morning, killing a 16-year-old and injuring dozens of people. Now, according to officials, they say this is a suspected, quote, terror attack. The first explosion happened at a bus station, and the second happened about half an hour later. Now, initial investigations indicate that the explosive devices were placed at both sites, and the search is ongoing right now for a suspect. Again, this is brand new information. Once more information is released from officials, I'll be sure to pass it along here in your NBC2 Alert Center.
Just terrible news, Brianna. Thank you. Well, this man, Dr. Eric Salata, is out on bond this morning. In fact, he's accused of raping 2 patients while they were getting procedures at his Naples medical spa. This morning, investigators are still working to find out if there are more victims out there. Dr. Salata was arrested Monday night. 2 patients say he drugged them and gave them alcohol to sedate them during cosmetic surgeries. Both women woke up to Dr. Salata forcing himself onto them. He will now be tracked with a GPS monitor. You can count on NBC2 to stay on top of this story.
From your Cape Coral News team, a father accused of starving his toddler to death is expected to be in court today. Ryan O'Leary faces first-degree murder, manslaughter, child abuse charges. He's also facing charges for molesting one of his other children. His 18-month-old only weighed 17 pounds when he was found. Ryan's wife, Sheila, has already been sentenced to life in prison for the same crimes. They told police they are strict vegans, only feeding their children fruits and vegetables. Count on NBC2 to let you know what happens with Ryan O'Leary in court today.
It is 6:10. An influx of mosquitoes following Hurricane Ian. Now Lee County is trying to do something about it. We'll show you the new efforts that are now underway.
And giving back to Southwest Florida this holiday season, we'll tell you how NBC2 is making it easier to give those who are in need a brighter holiday.
It is 6:13. If you've noticed more mosquitoes than usual this time of year, well, you're not alone. In fact, Lee County Mosquito Control is on a mission to find the pesky pests. Mosquitoes are known to carry dengue fever and other harmful diseases. There has been a rise in cases all across Florida. Hurricane Ian debris and pockets of water are the perfect places for those mosquitoes to lay eggs. In fact, traps are now being set all across the county.
The trap bag, there's a tag for the location. You put it in here and the flap opens up, mosquitoes are drawn in. Take your mosquitoes out, and then we'll take those back, put them in the freezer and identify them.
Crews added nearly 60 traps across neighborhoods in Edison Park, downtown, and Dean Park in Fort Myers. Once all the traps are set, they will be tracked for months. The NBC2 Giving Tree is back for its 36th year.
Yeah, by doing this, NBC2 helps provide senior citizens in our community gifts for the holidays. Are often the ones that are forgotten. This program has provided gifts for more than 100,000 people. The NBC2 Giving Tree is sponsored by your local Ford dealerships with the support of the Fort Myers Edison Kiwanis Club. There are about 4,000 tags at participating Ford dealerships ready for you to pick up, and you can see a list of those Ford dealerships right there. We have all the information you need to know about this year's event up on your screen. We also have a QR code that you can scan right there. It will take you to our site and more information.
So simple to do, and it makes such a big difference. And hey, maybe today's a good day to go by the NBC2 Giving Tree and pick up a tag. Maybe you're stopping by Tamiami Ford in Naples off of Airport Pooling Road. They open up at 8 o'clock. It will be cloudy this morning, but no heavy rain, no major issues there from Mother Nature. Lower 70s, and in the Naples area, we're going to top out in the lower 80s as we head into the afternoon, and also optimistic that we're going to work in more sunshine in the forecast today all across Southwest Florida after a pretty rare gray, gloomy day yesterday. We were blanketed with the cloud cover, and we still have the clouds out there this morning. You can see it really well from downtown Fort Myers. You can see those gray skies, and those clouds are hanging pretty low. Thankfully, we don't have any major issues with visibility this morning, but you might run into a little bit of mist and a little bit of light fog, especially inland. This is the view currently from Lehigh Acres. We're cooling off into the upper 60s, so not too cool, not too warm this morning. It is feeling a little bit muggier, and the breeze has died down a little bit as we look past the American and state flag, but you can see those kind of gray skies, and we are just about 45 minutes away from sunrise. I'll keep you updated on the visibility because I know a lot of you will be heading out the door traveling to see family this morning. Thankfully, we don't have any big weather problems across the state, just some light rain to the north. I'm tracking some fog along the Florida East Coast. There's some dense fog advisories there closer to Miami up through West Palm. So if you're heading across the alley, you might run into some reduced visibilities, but I think that's going to be the biggest culprit out there this morning for any kind of travel across our area, at least over South and Central Florida. The NBC2 First Alert Live Doppler radar scanning our sky and not detecting any measurable rain. I say measurable rain because there are some patches of mist. You might run into a few sprinkles out there this morning, but should not be a major deal. Temperatures this morning in the upper 60s. Cooling off a little bit more north and inland, but on average, we're down to 70 there in Cape Coral, 72 around the Naples area. Let me step out of the way for Edward. He wants to check out the forecast for that morning WALK, and we're going to see those clouds through 9 o'clock. Temperatures holding steady in the lower 70s by 9 o'clock. Yeah, we're going to warm up to 72 degrees. So not a bad looking forecast here for us. And just to give you that statewide perspective, if you're heading up 75, maybe you got family in Tampa or Orlando, there's some rain that's going to be sweeping across central Florida. That kind of fades away pretty quickly. And here across southwest Florida, we're going to stay mainly dry. There's just that slight chance for a few isolated showers. And look at the afternoon. What I want you to see is how the clouds start to break up. Yeah, you can see some more breaks, some more holes in the clouds, and that should allow for a little more sunshine to mix in, which will push our temperatures up into the 80s. And then we're going to stay mainly quiet and clear and dry for the first part of the night. But watch out for some fog early in the morning on Thanksgiving. I'll show you that here in just a moment. Going town by town here for your Wednesday, your Thanksgiving Eve, low to middle 80s across Lee County from Fort Myers, Lehigh Acres, over to Cape Coral, across Charlotte, DeSoto County today. We're going to top out in the lower 80s. A couple degrees above average for this time of year. Normally we're around 80 degrees for our daytime high, and there's going to be a lot of neighborhoods above that. 84 Orange Tree, 83 Ave Maria near Golden Gate Estates, down through the Lely community, and then Marco Island, Goodland, and Everglades City on the way up to 82 to 83 degrees today. Through the evening, after sunset, we're going to cool off into the 70s. We'll look at partly cloudy skies at least early tonight. And then on Thanksgiving Day, we're going to warm up by a few more degrees. 86. The record is 88 degrees. That was set back in 1992, so it could be a record warm Thanksgiving, at least close to it. And then on Friday, we're up to 87. Here's a closer look at your Thanksgiving forecast. I just want to give you a heads up. Maybe you're running that turkey trot tomorrow, starting at the Edison Ford Winter Estates. There's some fog and some low clouds, at least through the mid to late morning. And then skies will begin to open up, allowing for more sunshine and a really nice day tomorrow, looking mainly dry through your Thanksgiving afternoon. So here's a look at the next 10 days. And the next weather system that we're going to track will come in on Sunday, so looking mainly dry until then. And then just a slight cool down into early next week. That's your first alert forecast.
Traffic on NBC2 is sponsored by BioSpine Institute, minimally invasive spine surgery. Back to work in 3 days and in network with most insurance.
6:19 is your time. Good Wednesday morning, Southwest Florida. Let's start things off here in Collier County because Jason just mentioned it. There is some fog, and FHP just released a travel advisory, especially if you're heading down Alligator Alley, maybe heading to the East Coast, seeing some family for Thanksgiving. There is some fog in this area, and we're also seeing delays. So this is just after mile marker 101, the Collier Boulevard exit. Again, this is if you're heading to the East Coast. Give yourself plenty of extra time and safe travels. That's your NBC2 traffic alert.
From your Charlotte County News team, if you're looking for something fun to do today, the McGuire Park Splash Pad is set to reopen. That is on McGuire Avenue in Port Charlotte. So they're going to be resuming normal hours of operation, and with the warmer temperatures and wanting to entertain those kids off from school, this might be a really good option for all you parents. Your time right now is 6:20, and still ahead, putting guns in the hands of teachers, all to keep children safe. We'll explain what the Lee County School Board is now considering.
Plus, right now, we are taking a live look at Shore Point Health in Punta Gorda this morning as we continue to track breaking news after a Charlotte County deputy is hit and killed on the side of I-75. We'll take you live to the hospital where they died with the latest breaking news in this ongoing investigation. That's straight ahead at 6:30.
It is 6:23. We now know what comes next for the man accused of placing cameras inside a Sanibel Beach bathroom. New Hampshire resident Dana Caruso was arrested back in September. According to Sanibel police, Caruso installed fake fire alarms inside bathrooms at Bowman's Beach Park. Police also say there were hours of recordings with more than 50 people on them. Yesterday, a judge set another hearing for January. Count on us to keep you updated on this story.
Also on Tuesday, a judge denied a motion made by the parents of Brian Laundrie to limit depositions in the lawsuit filed by Gabby Petito's parents. The motion was filed in October to limit depositions about the events between the day Petito was killed and the day her remains were discovered last year. The Petitos claim the Laundries knew Brian murdered Gabby but stayed quiet. That trial is set to start next year.
With recent threats to some high-profile schools in Lee County, some newly elected officials are talking now about arming teachers. The Lee County School District just seated its new school board members Tuesday night. Now, among their priorities is allowing teachers who volunteer to train and keep a gun on school property.
And I was one of them that campaigned was the Guardian program. And that's where a teacher who volunteers, number one, and goes under an intensive 144-hour training with.
Newly elected school board member Jada Langford Fleming did not return our calls for an interview. 42 school districts in Florida already use the Guardian program, which was established in 2018 after the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas shooting that left 17 people dead.
It is 6:25. The Community Resource Center at Santini Plaza on Fort Myers Beach is open on Thanksgiving Day from 9 a.m. to noon. Remember, you can head there to take a shower or do laundry. You can also grab non-perishable food items and supplies you may need. Also, all FEMA disaster recovery centers are closed on Thanksgiving Day and will stay closed through the weekend. They will reopen on Monday for their normal operating hours.
6:25. People are still heading to the beach, but the big question is it safe to do that? We'll show you the latest look at our water quality and some changes you can expect straight ahead.
But first, we are taking you live to Shore Point Health Hospital in Punta Gorda following the death of a Charlotte County Sheriff's deputy. An arrest was just made as the investigation continues. We'll tell you everything we've confirmed.
We're still covered in clouds on this Thanksgiving Eve. There's a look at the NBC2 First Alert Live Doppler radar. At least we don't have any rain to deal with this morning. I'll show you how long those clouds will stick around and tracking some changes heading into Thanksgiving in your First Alert forecast.
Traffic on NBC2 is sponsored by BioSpine Institute, minimally invasive spine surgery. Back to work in 3 days and in network with most insurance.
And the good news is that we're still crash-free here if you're in Lee County or Cape Coral. But of course, we're already seeing some delays right at the intersection of Veterans Parkway and Santa Barbara Boulevard if you are heading eastbound. Those peak times are coming in at 28 miles per hour. That's your NBC2 traffic alert.
It is 6:29 and we are staying on top of breaking news this morning. A Charlotte County deputy was killed during a traffic stop on the side of I-75. He was just 23 years old. We've also learned someone has been arrested.
Yes, all this happened just before 11 o'clock last night, just before the Peace River overpass. Deputies were seen lining Shore Point Hospital last night supporting the fallen deputy. We are local this morning at the hospital with NBC2's Claire Lavazorio. And Claire, for people just joining us, you did manage to get that brand new breaking information about the arrest for us.
Here at the hospital this morning, I just saw 2 FHP troopers walk a woman in handcuffs out of these hospital doors onto the sidewalk and into a patrol car. Now, I'm working to find out if that woman is being booked on DUI charges in connection to this fatal crash involving a Charlotte County deputy on I-75. Now, all morning here at the hospital on Marion Avenue, we've seen FHP troopers and members of the sheriff's office parked right outside the ER doors to say goodbye and pay respects to one of their own. I want to take you out to the crash on 75 and exactly what we've learned from troopers within the last couple of minutes. Just before 11, that 23-year-old CCSO deputy was working that traffic stop when they were hit by a driver who lost control. That driver has been identified as 30-year-old Cassandra Smith. Troopers say Smith lost control and veered onto the shoulder where the deputy and another driver were standing. Now, that deputy was trauma alerted here to Shore Point Health in Punta Gorda, where he later passed away. So far, the sheriff has not released the name of that deputy because all family members and friends have not been notified at this point in time, but he is asking you to keep that deputy and his family in your thoughts and prayers this morning. I'm local in Punta Gorda, Claire Lavazorio, NBC2.
And this is just such a tragic story. Of course, this is also a developing story, and you can count on NBC2 for updates all day long.
Yep, 23 years old and a perfectly preventable crime.
Gone too soon, that's for sure. All right, right now you are taking a live look at Southwest Florida International Airport. This is courtesy of Private Sky Aviation Services. You can see we are off to a somewhat foggy start this morning in Southwest Florida.
Yeah, another gloomy morning. We know a lot of you are hitting the road. Maybe some of you are going to be hitting the skies to travel today. Let's check in with First Alert meteorologist Jason Dunning, checking the forecast. We going to get a burn off of these clouds finally?
Yeah, I'm optimistic we're going to see a little more sunshine breaking through today, so not looking as gloomy all day like what we saw yesterday. And we're not looking at any big travel issues, so you might want to check with your airline just to be, on the safe side. But there are really only big weather issues across the state today. some light to moderate rain from Tampa to Orlando. But just focused in on Southwest Florida, yeah, we've got that canopy of clouds blanketing our area this morning. So it's going to be a cloudy and pretty gloomy start to the morning, and also a little bit of mist as we break down 3 things to know. But not expecting any big showers or thunderstorms out there today. Thing number 2, sunshine mixes in by the afternoon hours. We're still going to have some clouds, so it's not going to be a completely clear blue sky. And then looking ahead to the big day tomorrow, near record warmth for Thanksgiving. The record for tomorrow, by the way, 88 degrees, and we're going to be in record territory. So we don't have any cold fronts coming in, at least for the next few days. Here's your Wednesday forecast. Thanksgiving Eve, we're starting off again on the cloudy side with some mist, some areas of fog possible. 12 o'clock, we start to see some breaks in the clouds, and that'll continue into the afternoon. Enough sunshine to warm us up to around 83 degrees for your daytime high. We're going to boost temperatures up even more for Thanksgiving. Here's a closer look at the afternoon tomorrow. We'll start off with some fog first thing in the morning and some low clouds, but then by the afternoon, 86 in Fort Myers, 85 Cape Coral, mid-80s there for Punta Gorda, 84 in Naples, and we're going to see a blend of sunshine and clouds. The good thing, too, we're not expecting much in the way of rainfall for the next few days. I'm tracking the next weather system, and I'll show you eventually when a cold front will move into Southwest Florida. That's ahead in your first alert forecast in just about 10 minutes.
Traffic on NBC2 is sponsored by Biospine Institute, minimally invasive spine surgery. Back to work in 3 days and in network with most insurance.
So the good news is that if you're heading out right now, maybe heading to the East Coast, maybe heading up north to Tampa, the only thing I am tracking is fog. This is right near the Collier Boulevard exit for those taking Alligator Alley this morning, which is mile marker 101. No crashes to report in Collier County. If we zoom out, you can see those speed times right along I-75, 70 miles per hour. Now here in Lee County, we are seeing some slowdowns, especially for those in Lehigh Acres taking State Road 82 right at the intersection of Gunnery Road. There's a bit of a slowdown, and those speed times are slowing down to 6 miles per hour. Now for those up in Charlotte County heading up to Tampa, 78 miles per hour. Again, no crashes to report along US 41 and I-75, so that is always good news. Safe travels. That's your NBC2 traffic alert.
All right, thanks, Brianna. 6:34. Many people spend the holidays here in Southwest Florida because they get the warm weather, they get to have fun on the beach. However, our beaches might actually not be such a good idea this year. We just got a new look at the red tide along our coast, and you can see that the colors are getting darker, and there's even more of them. And of course, the darker the color, that means the higher the concentration. You can see Lee County's coastline nearly covered in it. Red tide can cause respiratory issues, and it's best that you stay away from the beaches for now. There are also active health alerts in both Lee and Collier counties. Collier County is reopening more beach access points today, though. They include North Gulf Shore and Vanderbilt Beach access number 2, 4, and 6. The county is warning you, though, you do still need to avoid the water. There could still be debris and also bacteria in it.
Well, this morning we're getting a look at the damage at Lani Kai. The resort sits in the heart of Fort Myers Beach and hosts many tourists each and every year. The structure, it is still standing and in good shape. However, they will need to do some renovations. So anyone who has a reservation until October will be automatically refunded. Of course, we will keep you posted, on an opening date.
And we're following some heartbreaking news coming out of Virginia. 6 people dead. Let's take you back out live to the scene on INET 5. This is a live look from up above. You can see this is outside of a Walmart parking lot that we were getting a look at. We know first responders, EMS, they're investigating the scene after a shooting that happened, a deadly shooting that happened in Norfolk, Virginia. We know the shooter is also dead. We are expecting a press conference to happen later this morning in about 2 hours at 8 a.m. The mayor saying that he is devastated by this news that just came out. We know that the call came in just after 10 p.m. This is still an ongoing investigation. I wish I could show you that live feed we were having, but of course, this is live TV. So once we get this live feed back up, we'll be sure to update you here in your NBC2 Alert Center, and we are going to be listening into this press conference. Alan?
Brianna, thank you. It is 6:36, and the Biden administration extended the pause on federal student loans once again. Payments are now frozen for the next 6 months, with the first payments due 2 months after June 30th. The student loan forgiveness plan is still on hold for now as it goes through legal battles. You can count on NBC2 to keep you updated on that.
Well, if you are in need of a hot Thanksgiving meal, Lowe's is here to help you. Lowe's is teaming up with Southern Baptist Disaster Relief to provide Thanksgiving meals to those in need. Today, 1,000 meals will be handed out at the Lowe's on South Tamiami Trail in Fort Myers, and 1,000 meals at the Lowe's in Port Charlotte on Tamiami Trail. The distribution starts at 1 this afternoon, and it is first come, first serve.
Also, the food bank is open tomorrow for people in need. They will be at the Beacon of Hope parking lot on Pine Island handing out food. Starting at 9:30, that food was actually provided from 3 local Publix grocery stores.
If your turkey is dry, then here you go. Gravy and cranberry sauce are your best friends. But if it's really dry, you can even just drizzle it with a little bit of chicken broth before you serve it, and that will help.
Some good tips coming up this morning on the Today Show. Tips and tricks to keep handy to help avoid a holiday disaster like that dry turkey she just talked about. NBC News' Vicki Nguyen is speaking about travel, dining etiquette, and also what food to have ready. You can catch that full interview right after NBC2 News Today.
It was an interesting scene in Northwest Cape Coral. You'll hear from residents who say this artwork isn't welcome in their neighborhood.
Plus, get ready for packed roads and packed airports. We'll give you a look at what you can expect if you are traveling today.
Plus, NBC2 is staying on top of breaking news this morning as Charlotte County deputies mourn the loss of one of their own. The sheriff's office is honoring that fallen deputy with this Facebook post. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Your time right now is 6:41, and it's a creepy smiley face, and it popped up in Cape Coral, and it's drawing attention and also questions. Someone splashed that red fluid on the ground under a bridge along Burnstall Road in Northwest Cape Coral. Neighbors that live along that dead-end road say these mischievous antics are not welcome there.
The ones deliberately did that there. That's horrible. Yeah, we got a lot of wicked people here now. Grow up, and get something going.
Yeah, there's no way to tell what that liquid is. Cape Coral police say they didn't get any calls about this, and they're not sure what it is either.
Well, it is one of the busiest travel days of the entire year, and if you are driving, there's some good news. Gas prices, they continue to drop. So according to AAA, the national average right now for a gallon of gas sitting around $3.61 a gallon. Here in Florida, it's at $3.43 a gallon. Collier County, you can expect to pay the most at $3.54 a gallon. Take a look at Lee County. You'll pay about $3.42 a gallon. The cheapest right now is in Charlotte County at $3.39 a gallon. However, if you feel like driving far, the cheapest gas is in Texas, Georgia, and Mississippi. Also, the holiday travel season challenges our airspace efficiency. This morning on the Today Show, FAA Air Traffic Manager Greg Bias has a new announcement for the East Coast ahead of one of the busiest travel days of the year. You can catch that full interview right after NBC2 News Today.
Well, if you're traveling locally today, the only thing that we're seeing really is some low clouds. So we have some areas of fog, but visibility not greatly reduced in most locations. But you can see as we look here from Lehigh Acres, JetBlue Park, they're close to Gateway, off Daniels Parkway, Cape Coral, Punta Gorda Airport, we are blanketed in clouds, but the clouds are high enough so that we're not looking at a lot of really poor visibility right now. Here's a look at downtown Fort Myers, and you can see the clouds go all the way down here to the top of some of the high rises, but thankfully they're not sitting right on the ground to produce some of that fog. Now you might run into a little bit of mist. We have got a few sprinkles out there this morning, and those little drops are not even big enough to be detected by the NBC2 First Alert Live Doppler radar, but you might have to turn your windshield wiper on a little bit to wipe off some of that mist this morning. So we're covered in clouds from Port Charlotte, Cape Coral, down through Naples. It has not looked much like Florida over the last couple of days, at least going back to yesterday, as we've been dealing with some of those cloud complications. And this morning, as we track some of the fog, Brianna Fernandez was talking about this in your NBC2 traffic alert. But if you have any plans to go across the alley, that's where the fog's a little bit thicker. There's dense fog advisories along the Florida East Coast, but we are avoiding those here across our part of Florida. You don't see any of those yellow or orange shadings, so that's some good news. Headed north, there's some light to moderate rain, Orlando, Tampa, along the I-4 corridor. You can see all this rain working in from the Gulf of Mexico, moving from west to east. Nothing severe, nothing too heavy, but if you are working up I-75 today, you might run into a little bit of that light to moderate rain. Rainfall in southwest Florida, there's chances of very low today. We're just going to see some of those clouds kind of hanging tough through the morning hours, and then I'm optimistic that by the afternoon, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, we start to see some breaks, some holes in the clouds to allow for a little more sunshine to break through, and that will allow temperatures to warm up into the middle 80s today. Here's your futurecast as we track your weather town by town. As we go through the rest of the 6 o'clock hour, we're starting off around 70, and we'll stop the clock around lunchtime today, and you can see partly sunny conditions for Bonita Springs, Cape Coral, Fort Myers, we're all going to warm up close to 80 to 83 degrees today. So we're going to be a few degrees above the average, but our rain chance is very slim. There's that chance for an isolated pop-up shower, but I think most of you will be fine leaving the rain gear, the umbrella at home. For the evening and overnight, mainly dry. We will see some morning fog early on Thanksgiving Day. So as you're maybe running that turkey trot, if you're trotting along 7 o'clock in the morning from the Edison and Fort Winter Estates, there's the fog, 71 degrees, and then we'll see those clouds kind of hang tough through the mid-morning hours, but we're going to see more sunshine through the day on Thanksgiving. By 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, we're partly cloudy, 79 degrees, and we're going to warm up to the middle to even upper 80s. 5 o'clock, 86 degrees, so it's definitely going to be a warm one. The warmest we've ever seen in Southwest Florida for Thanksgiving, or at least tomorrow on the 24th, is 88, so not too far off from record territory. I just want to show you real quick. We don't talk a lot about national weather, but since it's such a big travel day, I just want to show you here Wednesday, Thursday, Thanksgiving looking pretty quiet. The next system we're going to track is going to develop here across portions of Texas and the Mid-South. So if you're maybe trying to get a connecting flight to Houston, through the day Thursday into Friday, Atlanta, we're going to see some rain showers there, but looking nice, bright and sunny here in Southwest Florida. Our next weather system moves through late this weekend. So here's Friday, Black Friday looking good. It's going to be warm. Looking ahead to Saturday, mostly dry. And then it's Sunday. That's the day we're going to see a chance for a few isolated showers. You can see that front moving in. It's not going to be a particularly strong one, but it will help to cool us off into early next week. So we're going to stay in the 80s over the next several days. Warmest day will be Friday, up to 87 degrees. And then on Sunday, a few isolated showers. Look at our lows early next week. We're going to cool off to the low to mid 60s, but still looking at highs in the 80s. That's your first alert forecast.
All right, thanks, Jason. Still ahead in our final 10 minutes. The search for more victims is on this morning after a Collier County doctor is accused of raping his patients.
Plus, what to do with the elementary school hit hard on Fort Myers Beach. You'll hear from parents who are now pleading with the school district to reopen that school.
But first, we've got breaking news. A Charlotte County deputy is killed overnight in the line of duty. We're live with team coverage with brand new information about the investigation and the deputy who was killed. NBC2 has been staying on top of breaking news all morning long. A Charlotte County deputy was hit and killed after pulling someone over on I-75. Happened just before 11 o'clock last night.
And that crash closed the interstate for hours just north of Jones Loop Road in Punta Gorda. Right now, those northbound lanes are back open. NBC2 Chandler Blackman is live from the sheriff's office this morning. Chandler, we've confirmed a lot of new information in the last hour.
Yeah, Alan, we can confirm that 30-year-old Cassandra Smith was placed under arrest for DUI manslaughter and is in the process of being booked into the Charlotte County Jail. This is video of the scene from earlier this morning when our crew arrived. The Charlotte County deputy who was killed during that traffic stop was just 23 years old. He was making a traffic stop off the side of the road with another driver. Troopers say that is when Smith, who was driving a Jeep, swerved lanes and struck the deputy and a person in that third car. That other victim is okay. Now, we're still working to figure out the name of the victim, but we know family and close of kin, they have to be notified first. You can count on NBC2 to keep you updated once we learn that information. We're local this morning in Punta Gorda, just outside of the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office. I'm Chandler Blackman, NBC2.
All right, thanks so much, Chandler. And coming up in just a few minutes, our team coverage continues with Claire Labozorio at Shore Point Health. That's where the deputy was taken to try and save him.
Yeah, and she too just got some new information about the arrest that was made and new information about the deputy who was killed. Also, there will be a press conference that will be coming up a little bit later this morning. 6:51, we have more breaking news this morning. A pedestrian was killed overnight in Punta Gorda just down the road at Jones Loop and Duncan Road. We know an 18-year-old was driving and hit a 52-year-old woman, killing her. Troopers say she was trying to cross the road and walked in front of the SUV. She died at the scene. You can count on NBC2 to keep you updated.
Now to your top stories. An accused rapist is bonded out of jail this morning. This is Dr. Eric Salata, and he's accused of raping 2 of his patients after sedating them at his Naples medical spa, Pura Vida. Now investigators are looking into whether there are even more victims. Both women told investigators they woke up to Salata forcing himself onto them, even giving them alcohol and laughing gas. He will now be tracked via GPS. NBC2, of course, will continue to stay on top of this developing story as well.
A Cape Coral father accused of starving his toddler to death is expected in court today. Ryan O'Leary is facing first-degree murder, manslaughter, and child abuse charges. He's also facing charges for molesting one of his other children. His 18-month-old child only weighed 17 pounds when he died. Ryan's wife Sheila was sentenced to life in prison for the same crimes. They told police they are strict vegans, only feeding their children fruits and vegetables. You can count on NBC2 to let you know what happens today in court. 6:52, the newly elected Lee County School Board is considering arming teachers. So this is part of an ongoing effort to keep children safe inside the classroom as the number of mass shootings continues to go up. Teachers would be able to volunteer to train and have guns on them.
The number one thing is it's a deterrence because someone has no idea who might be armed and who might not be armed. Be walking around with guns on the side of their hips.
42 school districts right here in Florida already use the Guardian program that was established in 2018 after the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas shooting that left 17 people dead. Henry County is one of those districts. Count on NBC2 to keep you up to date on any decisions that are made.
I'm hoping that they understood that we really want our school to be rebuilt.
Fort Myers Beach families are asking for the Lee County School District to reopen their elementary school. They say it's the heartbeat of the community, and parents want to see their kids finish their school where they started. Parents are so desperate to open it back up that they're even offering to help pay for renovations.
It is an integral part of our history, our heritage, and our identity.
But if our school was there, we'd go back to the island every single day. We would bring Marina to school every day.
The school only had 78 students before the storm. The district has not made any decisions yet. The board will meet again December 13th to discuss options for Beach Elementary, and we'll be sure to let you know what happens.
All right, I want you to take a look at this hurricane debris site. This is in northwest Cape Coral, just off Burnt Store Road and Diplomat Parkway. Neighbors say that is causing some issues, especially for residents who live nearby. They actually want to see this debris site moved. In fact, a petition has already started. They say smoke is filling up inside their homes each day, and it's so thick outside, it's hard to breathe.
That fire burns constantly. All night long it's going. So as the wind changes direction, the fire smoke just moves different ways. It's just a constant burden, more and more adding up.
So the city says the incinerator is shut down at sunset. However, residents say that's not the case. They have an operator that stays there throughout the night to monitor it.
If you live in Collier County or Cape Coral, keep in mind there will be no debris collection today to give workers a chance to celebrate Thanksgiving. Both services will resume Monday. However, Cape Coral's drop-off sites will remain open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day except Thanksgiving Day.
All right, your time right now is 6:55. The NBC2 Giving Tree is back for its 36th year.
Yeah, it's a way for us to help provide senior citizens and our community gifts for the holidays. Over the 36 years, this program has provided gifts for more than 100,000 people. The NBC2 Giving Tree is sponsored by your local Ford dealers with the support of the Fort Myers Edison Kiwanis Club. There are about 4,000 tags this year at participating Ford dealerships ready for you to pick up. We have all the information you need to know about this year's event up on your screen. All you have to do is scan the QR code you see, and it will take you to our site.
Traffic on NBC2 is sponsored by BioSpine Institute, minimally invasive spine surgery. Back to work in 3 days and in network with most insurance.
And here in your NBC2 Traffic Center, we're already seeing some slowdowns this morning right along I-75 for those heading southbound. So from Colonial Boulevard heading down south to Daniels Parkway, those speed times are slowing down to 48 miles per hour. In this area, RSW near Daniels Parkway, Treeline Avenue, and Terminal Access Road, you are going to see bumper-to-bumper traffic. Again, a lot of people heading to the airport this morning or maybe taking I-75 to go see family members. So drive safe. The good news is no crashes to report, so that is always good news on a Wednesday morning. That's your NBC2 Traffic Alert.
It is 6:56, and let's get you back to that breaking news this morning. We know a 23-year-old Charlotte County deputy was hit and killed on the side of I-75 last night, just north of Jones Loop Road in Punta Gorda.
Yeah, the deputy was rushed to Shore Point Health in Punta Gorda, where he died due to his injuries. NBC2's Claire Lavazorio joins us live from outside the hospital, where numerous Charlotte County deputies and FHP troopers have been seen all morning long. And Claire, I can imagine it's a very emotional scene out there.
Very, very emotional day, and all morning long we've seen members of law enforcement showing up here at Shore Point Health to pay their respects to this deputy who was killed in the line of duty. Now, the 23-year-old was trauma alerted here to this hospital along Marion Avenue in Punta Gorda, where he unfortunately passed away from his injuries. This was after he was hit by an alleged drunk driver on I-75. Let's talk you through what we know. Just before 11, the young deputy was working that traffic stop when he was hit by a driver who lost control. He was parked and standing on the shoulder, working that traffic stop with another driver when another woman in a Jeep lost control. Now, that driver has been identified as 30-year-old Cassandra Smith. She is currently being booked in the Charlotte County Jail on DUI manslaughter charges. I will be out here all morning getting you updates from the sheriff's office as well as FHP. So far, the sheriff's office has not released the name of the 23-year-old deputy as they work to identify that young man's family. I'm reporting live in Punta Gorda outside of Shore Point Health. Claire Lavazorio, NBC2.
And you can count on NBC2 to continue monitoring this story very closely. We're going to send updates right to your smartphone, like the one you see on your screen. You can download the NBC2 News app for free from the Google Play or Apple app stores, and continue to count on NBC2 to bring you any updates throughout the day.
All right, coming up on 7 o'clock, and this time lapse really tells the story of the morning, very much like yesterday morning. We're kind of stuck in the clouds, a little bit of mist, a little bit of fog, and this is the live view right now from the Edison Grand in downtown Fort Myers, and it is a gray, bit of a dreary start as we start the day here on this Thanksgiving Eve. At least we don't have to deal with any rain out there this morning. If you are traveling, the NBC2 First Alert Live Doppler radar sweeping clear. There's some rain just to our north from Tampa to Orlando, but our rain chances will stay very low. We'll be dealing with the clouds, though, as we go through most of the morning today. But I'm optimistic we're going to see more sunshine breaking through by the afternoon, and that'll send temperatures up to 83 degrees, a few degrees warmer than yesterday, and it's still going to be a little bit on the muggy side. And then looking ahead to the next 3 days, big day tomorrow, of course, 86, just a couple degrees away from the record, which is 88, so near record warmth for Thanksgiving. Some of you will be thankful for that, others maybe not so much, and then 87 on Black Friday, and we will be the warmest in the country, it looks like, tomorrow for Thanksgiving. So if you like it warm, you're in the place, this is the place to be. And also, one more thing I want to mention, 1 week from now, the hurricane season comes to an end.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, right.
That is something to be thankful for.
That's something to be thankful for, and no development expected here over the next 5 to 7 days, so it looks good.
All right, even more thankful. Well, from all of us here at NBC2, we're going to be kind of scattered on Thanksgiving. We hope you have a very safe and happy Thanksgiving with your family and friends.
Enjoy the rest.